Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to keep working with fractions, okay? And we're also going to work with story problems, but I want to give you your objective today. So your objective, your I can statement is, I can understand addition and subtraction of fractions as joining and separating parts, referring to the same whole, right? So we're joining and we're separating parts when we're adding and subtracting, and it's referring to a whole pizza, a whole pie, a whole cake, a whole hour, however you want to think about it. So we're going to be using our fraction kits to model some story problems. But before I pass those out, I want to start by looking at this story problem. In building a road through a subdivision, a low section in the land was filled in with dirt that was hauled in by trucks. The complete fill required 3 truckloads of dirt. The average truck carried 5 2/3 cubic yards of dirt, which weighed 3/4 of a ton. How many tons of dirt were used in the fill? Wow. Before we touch the math in this problem, can we talk about how it makes us feel? If I came across this problem in a test, I think I would go, ah! And I might get really nervous, maybe a little sweaty. What am I going to do? So right now, turn and in your table groups, talk to them about how you feel when you see a problem like this.
Kind of nervous, kind of stressed out.
Getting teasy.
No, not really.
Frustrating. And hard too.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Okay, who wants to raise their hand and share with everybody some of the things you talked about with your group? It can be something you felt or something you heard that made sense to you. Okay, Anthony?
I feel like frustrated, like feel so frustrated.
Yeah. What makes you feel frustrated about it? Yeah. Go ahead. Anthony.
It's like hard and you can't like.
Are there like too many words?
Yeah, too
That's
many.
how I felt. Who felt like there were too many words? Ah. Okay, good. Put your hands down. And now, anyone else who'd like to share with us? Joycelyn?
I feel angry and I don't like it.
Angry and you don't like it. Did anybody sort
I
of
feel
just
like
shut
help.
down? You're like, I'm done. Raise your hand. I'm done. I don't even care. This is ridiculous. I feel like that too sometimes. Mad. Just why are you asking me to do this? All right. Who else has another feeling that they want to share? Jennifer, how do you feel?
Scared because I don't know what to do or how to answer it.
Yes. Scared. Scared is a big one. It would make me feel very scared. Okay. Dean?
I feel like I'm gonna get it wrong and get a bad grade.
Okay, so it makes you anxious, right? Anxious is like nervous, but it's like sort of excited, sort of anticipating what's gonna happen. Okay, that's good. Maximo, did you want to share?
Yeah. I feel like I just want to like throw the test in the ground and just think about it for a few seconds.
Well, you want to think about it for a few seconds. You sort of want to push it aside and just sort of focus.
Yeah.
That is great. That is a great way to face this problem. Okay, let's hear from one more person before we move on. Leslie.
Sometimes I feel trustworthy that I could pass it, and I just think about it, and if I get it wrong, well, at least I tried.
Okay, so you try to be optimistic. That means that it looks a little scary, but you're trying to be positive about it. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we all everyone sort of said, they raised their hand, yes, I felt scared. It was too many words. That's okay. It is absolutely okay to feel scared, to feel mad, to feel like, I'm going to throw this on the ground, I'm done with it. That's okay. The important thing is that you learn to calm yourself down, right? You learn to take it slow, and you really teach yourself how to tackle the problem, how to get started. And we're going to learn some of that today. We're going to learn some strategies for that. So if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to take this away, put it aside, and after we learn some strategies today, we can come back to it. And I think you're going to find that it's not so hard anymore. What do you think? Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. I have everything set up real nice. I have my one whole. I have my halves beneath it, my fourths, my eighths, and my 16ths. Okay, so I'm going to start a story problem where let's talk about how I had my birthday yesterday. I had a chocolate birthday cake. It was so good. Had peanut butter frosting on it, which I thought might be weird, but it was so good. So chocolate cake. I cut my cake into 4 equal pieces. So what do I have right now? I have my whole cake. What do I have? Eric.
4 fourths.
I have 4 fourths. I have all my pieces. So I'm going to use my fourths. Now, let's talk about how much my parents ate. My dad loves chocolate cake. He loves it so much. He ate 2/4 of my cake. So I can model that with my kit. Now, my mom, she really likes dessert, but chocolate isn't her favorite. She really wanted dessert, and it was all we had. So she decided she'll just eat 1/4. Just one slice, 1/4. So now, how much did my parents eat total? Who can see that? Can everybody see it up here? Okay. Brittany?
Your parents ate 3/4?
They ate 3/4, and because I modeled it with my kit, I can just count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. But now if I want to write it as an equation or a number sentence, let's see how I would do that. My dad ate 2/4, okay, and my mom ate 1/4. Now what operation am I doing? Am I adding, multiplying, subtracting? Justice.
Adding.
Adding, exactly. Because I'm looking for the total. So 2 plus 1, just like up here, is 3/4. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to pass out your fraction kits and also whiteboards and markers, just like I used here. You're going to work in partners, and one of you is going to be the modeler with the fraction kit, and the other one is going to write the number sentence. But you're not working independently of each other. You're going to help each other, okay? But one person will be in charge of moving about the kit, and one person will be in charge of doing the writing of the equation, okay? And I'm going to pass them out, and then we're going to do one all together before you do one on your own, okay? Passing out time. Did you have an urgent question, Joyce?
Aren't you doing adding and subtracting at the same time? You're subtracting it from the whole cake, and you're adding the 2/4 and the 1/4.
Well, you're absolutely right. That is a great observation. So, Joycelyn showed us how we could do subtraction with this, if that made sense to us when we were working on it. She said, you can take your whole cake, which we know is 4/4. Eric told us we have 4/4. And then we can subtract how much my dad ate. And what do we have? 2/4. Then we can subtract what my mom ate. She wasn't as greedy. And we end up with 1/4. So if 1/4 is gone, we know 3/4 is what they ate. Very nice. All right, let's pass out fraction kits and whiteboards. Decide amongst yourselves, your partner, who is going to do what, so we can get set up quickly.
I will do the kit, the fraction kit. I'll do the whiteboard because you did the whiteboard yesterday and I did the fraction kit yesterday.
You can either put them in stacks if you like that. Do you want help with the whiteboards?
Are gonna go into a fraction, we could easily do it. So like if we put 1/2 right here, we're gonna put 1/2. And if we put and they ask us to put the other half, we're gonna put it here.
Kind of like a dice game. That's what it was like. Vamos a hacer esto y también como tú vas a hacer eso, lo que ella escribe, también nosotros lo tenemos que escribir.
Does everybody have the right number of pieces? Okay, boys and girls, let's do one all together. I'm going to model it, and you're going to model it at the same time, okay? And I'm going to make sure that you're keeping up with me, so don't worry. Okay. Mrs. Ellison and I went out for pizza, and I hadn't eaten all day because I was so busy planning lessons, so I was really hungry. So we have a pizza that's divided into 8 equal parts. So what are we starting with? How many eighths do we have? Armando?
8 eighths.
8 eighths. So I'm going to use my eighths. And I was so hungry after not eating all day that I ate 4 eighths of the pizza. So are my modelers modeling? Guys got it? Okay. So after I ate my pieces, Mrs. Ellison, she's pregnant. She's really hungry. She's eating for 2. How much is left for Mrs. Ellison to eat?
4.
Who can see it in their kit and raise their hand and share with us? Adrian?
4 eighths.
4 eighths. And you know, you guys have been so good with your equivalent fractions. Who can tell me if there's another way that we can represent this using our fraction kit? What do we think? Armando B?
A half.
1/2. How did you know that you could model 4 eighths by using 1/2, Armando?
Because 4 of 8 is a half and 1/2 of a whole. Well, like it fits. 4 eighths, it fits a half, and 4 of 8 is a half.
So you knew that if you divide 8 in half, it's 4, right? You knew that because we all know our division facts. But I love that you were able to show it with your fraction kit. That was excellent. So Armando is saying, well, even if I didn't know that, even if I didn't know my division facts so well, look what I can do. Does everybody see that? So we know that 4 eighths is equal to 1/2. So now our writers have to write an equation. So let's think about how we can write this as an equation. Who started writing already? Who wants to share with me? What did you start with? Angel.
I started with 8 eighths, then I subtracted 4 eighths. That left me with 4 eighths a half.
So Angel said, well, I started with 8 eighths because I had a whole pizza. And then he said, well, Miss Taylor ate 4 eighths. And I knew then that I had 4 eighths left. And then you were also able to show, and I'm sorry, it's kind of low on the board now, but he was able to show that 4 eighths equals 1/2. So we were able to model and to write. Do you guys think you're ready to work on one on your own?
Yeah.
I think you are. Okay. Let me get settled here. I'm going to erase what we have. Joycelyn, what did you want to share with us about making 1/2?
I know that if it's an even number, like 8, like 2, 4, 6, and 8, you put them under, and they're even.
Oh, so you can make, so Joycelyn says, I know that if it's an even number, I can divide it by 2, because all even numbers can be divided by 2. She said, so then I can make equal rows, right? So if I want to remember how many is half of 8, I can keep putting them down until I have 2 equal rows. And then I'll see that I have half. That is beautiful. Thank you, Joycelyn. All right, so now clear off your kit again. We're going to get started. Everybody always tells me Ruben is so good at soccer. Okay? But he wants to get even better. We have to practice to get better, right? He decides he wants to be faster when he plays soccer. Okay, so he needs to train. He needs to run. So he decides he's going to get in shape by running 1 mile every week. Okay? So on Monday of this week, he ran 3/16 of a mile. On Tuesday, he ran 2/16 of a mile. And on Wednesday, he ran 6/16 of a mile. How much has Ruben ran so far? And how much more does he need to run to meet his goal of running 1 mile? Let's see how we can organize some of that information while you're modeling. Let's see. On Monday, Ruben ran 3/16. On Tuesday, he ran 2/16. And on Wednesday, he ran 6/16. Okay, right now, talk to each other, work with your partner, get the model and the equation down.
So he ran 3, 2, 5, 6, 11 sixteenths.
I added the numerators and it comes to 11, and you can also do it like sideways or up and down. Yeah. And how many left? 11, 16. I mean, 4 he had to run. And let's see. 4, 16. 11, 16, 4, 16. Yeah.
And then did you use subtraction to figure out how many more miles he needs? Very nice. I like how you took the time when you were all done. You were waiting for everyone to finish, so you wrote a complete sentence. I love that. That's great practicing of your writing.
So, la maestra lo que nos dijo es que 3:16 más 2:16 más 6:16 que caminó en lunes, martes y miércoles. Lo que es todo eso es 11:16 y luego tienes que poner 16, quítale 11:16 y es 5:16 que tiene que caminar más.
Leslie, I heard you explaining to Miguel, and you did such a beautiful job. It's important to be able to really explain things, especially when we're working in math, but all the time. So thank you so much. That was wonderful. Hey, boys and girls, come back to me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Okay, you guys had a lot of time to work on this. I saw some people use the extra time to draw visual representations in addition to your model kit. Some people were drawing pie charts and things. That's fantastic. And you all have a really great mathematic number sentence down as well. So let's go over this together. I have my 1 whole representing the 1 whole mile that Ruben wants to run this week. And what fraction am I working with? What do I have in my, what's my whole mile going to be made up of based on the equations that I gave you, the numbers I gave you? Javin? 16 sixteenths would represent his whole mile. Okay? So I'm going to pull my 16ths so I remember. So what did you do first? How many miles do we know that Ruben ran on Monday? Leslie?
Well, first I added up how much he had, like how much he already ran.
So did you start with the equation?
Yeah.
And then you helped Miguel model it because you needed to give him some explanation, right? Okay.
So then I plussed it up and it equaled 11 sixteenths.
Okay. Let's do that with let's make sure that we are modeling that with our kit. So Miguel, who is working with Leslie with the fraction kit, he would put up 3/16. And then the next day, Tuesday, 2/16. And finally, 6/16. 2, 4, 6. Okay, Leslie. So you knew that this was 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A lot of little pieces to count up. Okay, so you knew that the answer to the first part of the question was 11/16. And I'll write your equation here too. 3/16 plus 2/16 plus 6/16. Man, he must have had a lot of energy on Wednesday. We ended up with 11/16 by Wednesday already. Wow, he's doing a pretty good job. Okay, I want to go to somebody else. Tell me how you figured out how much he has left to go. Obed, how did you solve the second part of the problem where you had to find out how much more he had left to do this week?
When I had 11/16, I got 16 sixteenths and I minused it and I got 5/16.
So you subtracted, you had 16/16, you subtracted your 11/16, and you got, what'd you get, Obed?
5/16.
5/16. That make sense to everybody? Yes. If you're not as comfortable with subtraction, what's another way that you could solve this? Javin.
You could do 5/16 plus 11/16, and that would equal 16/16, and you could.
That's right, but if you don't know what your answer is yet, right? How would that look? Should I write, if we have 11, we know we have 11/16, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what part are we missing?
We're missing the.
We don't know what we would add, but we know we would need to get a whole.
So you would have to go back to one of your subtraction problems and look what the answer was, and
You could. What else could you do though? It's a math thing that we learned back when we were first learning to count. If you have 10 and you need to get to 15, but you haven't learned to subtract yet, what can you do?
add the numerator.
Now there's something even more basic I'm thinking of. You're right, Javin, something more basic. What about counting on? So if you're like, well, I don't know how I'm going to get to 16s, but I know I have 11. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I know I needed 5/16. If straight subtraction makes more sense to you, absolutely do that. But this is another way for some people who it's real easy and quick for them to count on, especially when you have your fraction kit, because then you really can just look at how many you have left, right? So you can count on. You can say, well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That works too. Okay, I want to show you guys what this problem looks like that you just solved. Okay, I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is a big block of text. Do you see that? If you saw that on a test, you might feel some of those things that we talked about. Whoa, I don't know, I can't, it's too hard. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw my test on the floor. Why is she making me do this? My teacher's torturing me. But we were just able to walk through this problem using what we know. We made sense of each part, and we got through it, and you guys did a really good, effective job. So see how something like this, just have to take a deep breath, start with what you know, and walk your way through, and you'll get a sensible answer. Okay? So I just wanted to show that to you so you could see, wow, that's really what we did? Because if I saw that on a test, I might think that was kind of scary. So really, it's amazing what you guys just did. You did an incredible job of breaking down this problem, and it's a really scary problem. I think that maybe we can try multiplication with your fraction kits. What do you think? Are you up to the challenge? Yeah. Say, challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. There we go. Before we practice doing a multiplication fraction problem, let's just remember what we know about multiplication. Multiplication is how many groups of what do I have? So, if I have 3 bags of candy, okay, 3 bags of candy, and they each have 4 candies inside. I have 3 groups of what? Everyone. 4. That's right. So to write this as an equation, we write 3 groups of, this times sign is like saying of, 3 groups of 4. Everyone, what does that equal? 12. Good job. You know your multiplication facts. Okay, so this is going to be your problem, and we'll go through it together, but I want you to model it and write it with me, okay? What if I have a candy bar? I gave 1/4 of a candy bar to each of my 3 friends. So I'm going to grab my fourths, okay? And I gave 1/4 to Sharon, 1/4 to Miss Swanson, and 1/4 to Ida. So I have 3 groups of what? 3 groups of 1/4. Do you have that in front of you now? Okay. Now how, writers, I want you to think about this, and your partner can help you. How do we write this as an equation? Take some time. You can talk to each other. Work on that right now.
You add it and then you could minus it, and you could also multiply it.
Yes.
Miguel grew 3/16 of an inch this year. 3/16 of an inch this year. Maximo grew 3 times as much. So Miguel grew 3/16 this year. Maximo grew 3 times as much. So how much did Maximo grow? Now work together, talk to each other, model with your kit, and write a good equation.
3 times.
This is Miguel, this is Max. So it's 3/16 and then 9/16.
9/16.
So that would be 3/16 times 3. No, times 3. Times 3, darling. 3/16
Times 3 equals 9/16.
Minor. Excellent. Okay. Who can walk us through this real quick? How would you model this? You know, I saw that Edgar, you had it modeled really well. How did you model Maximo growing 3 times as much as Miguel, who grew 3/16? Tell us what you did.
Because you said that do it 2 times, Maximo got hired twice more.
3
so
times? You mean 3 times as much?
3 times as much more than Miguel.
Miguel.
So then I just put 3 for Miguel, and then I got 6 for Maximo, and then I found out the answer.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let's look at what Edgar did. So Edgar said, well, I know I'm working with 16ths because that's the first thing you have to figure out, right? What fraction are you working with? He said, well, I know that Miguel grew 3/16, and now I need 3 times that many. So my group is 3/16. I need 3 of those groups. So he put up 6 more because he said, now I have 2, 3 more. Now I have 3 groups. All right. And so how many inches did Maximo grow? We can just count it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he grew 9/16. But we also can write this as an equation. No, Helani?
I wrote 3/16 times, and I don't know how many is it how many what it is to 16. So I put 3/16 times 3 equals 9/16. So I know that it's 9 times 9/16.
All right. So here's what you did on your board. You said, I have 3/16. I need 3 groups, and I have 9/16. And she was able to check her work because her partner still had her fraction kit modeled for her. All right, guys. Great job. You just tackled a multiplication story problem. All right, so I think that what we're going to do next week is come back to that very first one that we thought was so scary. Do you remember? In building a road through a subdivision, a low section in the land was filled in with dirt that was hauled in by trucks. Do you remember this one? I think that we're going to be able to come back to this next week and solve it, no problem. Great job today.